Somewhere under the ice, there may be a disease the modern world has never seen, and the ice is melting. Scientists have already brought ancient viruses back to life from frozen ground. One of them was about 48,500 years old. But that's not what should scare you. The real question is, what else is buried down there? In this video, we're going inside that threat. It doesn't start like a movie. No sirens, no screaming, just a frozen town where the ground starts opening. When permafrost thaws, it doesn't just release water, it can release whatever was trapped inside it. Old bacteria, old genetic material, maybe even old viruses moving from frozen ground into water, soil, and animals again. And once it gets out, the first people to notice it may not be scientists, they may be doctors. That may sound extreme, but here's the problem. Scientists have already shown that ancient viruses can come back to life. They didn't find a monster. They found something worse for this story. Proof that ancient viruses can still infect cells. In the lab, they revived viruses from Siberian permafrost. The oldest sample was around 48,500 years old. To be clear, these viruses infected amoebas, not people. But that detail doesn't make the story safe. It makes it harder to dismiss, because if some viruses survived that long, what else did the ice preserve? There's a reason they used amoebas. It was the safer way to test whether these ancient viruses could still infect cells. That doesn't mean the world is safe. It means the experiment was controlled. The outside world is not. They tested one narrow path, but they still don't know what else is alive inside the ice and how dangerous it could be. So the danger isn't just what scientists found, it's what they haven't tested yet. And now humans are moving deeper into the frozen zone. Not carefully, with machines, with roads, with drills. Places that were once sealed off by ice are becoming work sites, routes, and extraction zones. That changes the risk, because distance used to protect us. Now distance is disappearing. Every cut into frozen ground is contact. Old soil, old remains, old microbes brought back into the modern world. And this is where the story gets darker, because the Arctic has already sent us a warning. It wasn't a theory. It wasn't from a lab. It was anthrax coming back from frozen ground. In 2016, Siberia saw an anthrax outbreak. Thousands of reindeer died. People were hospitalized. One child died. Anthrax is bacteria, not a virus, but that almost makes the warning worse. Old disease can wait in the ground, and anthrax was something we already knew. The next threat may not be that easy to recognize. If the wrong pathogen gets out, it may not look ancient at all. It may look like a few ordinary cases. That's the trap. Doctors may think it's flu or something familiar, and that delay could change everything. Then it leaves the hospital. Masks spread, streets change, and suddenly the crisis has a shape everyone can see. But behind the scenes, the answer still isn't clear. Even protected teams may not know what they're fighting yet, because the world doesn't stop moving. Flights leave, trains run, cities stay open. A new outbreak could move before the warning does. By then, hospitals may already be overwhelmed, not by one explosive wave, but by a crisis nobody understands fast enough. And if the pathogen is ancient enough, finding the right treatment may take time. A vaccine could take even longer. The nightmare may not be the outbreak itself. It may be the silence before anyone understands it. And this may be only one threat. And the real problem may be bigger than one virus. Permafrost may not be hiding one secret. It may be hiding a biological archive. Viruses, bacteria, dormant spores, ancient genetic material. Most of it may be harmless, but all it takes is one that isn't. And once thawed material reaches water, the story changes again. Water moves, animals move, and the distance gets a lot shorter. Because the biggest threat may not be the deadliest one. It may be the one that finds the right host. And that's what makes this darker. Warming may not unlock one layer. It may keep unlocking more. And this is where the threat becomes a loop. As permafrost thaws, microbes can release greenhouse gases into the air. Those gases can add more warming. More warming can thaw more ground, and more ground means more buried material exposed. So this isn't just a frozen past waking up, it's a system that may help unlock itself. And the darkest part is this: no scientist has to open the next layer. The warming world may do it for us. So maybe the question was never whether scientists could wake ancient viruses. It was whether the planet would start doing it without us. Because every warmer year makes the frozen world less frozen. More cracks, more water, more doors opening in the ground. And behind those doors may be nothing, or something we only recognize after it has already crossed over. The terrifying part is simple. We built a world that moves fast around threats that may wake slowly. So if the ice keeps opening, what do you think is still waiting underneath?